We're walking through the woods and we're a couple of miles off the beaten track. There's nobody around. These people walk by a single file, don't even look up, don't make eye contact whatsoever at all, and continue to walk through. That happened 2 times. Now, traditionally, if you're out in the desert, if you're out in the woods, if you're out in the forest, if you're off the beaten track and you run into others, it's always a smart idea to act like a person or a human being or whatever. Because what if I come across you in another mile or so and you've fallen off a rock, a tree's fallen on you, or a dinosaur came out and bit you? You're going to want me to render first aid. These people acted like we weren't even there.
That's correct.
The social programming, the cognitive dissonance, the inability to interact with other people is almost complete. They need to wait for me, you, and the 2,700 people in the chat. We'll call it 2,500 because 200 in there doing their job. They got to wait for us to die off. I don't even know if they need a virus, man.
Well,
they could wait us out.
You know, I'll give you an instance here. When I was a child growing up, getting in the boats and riding and going fishing, every boat that you passed, you waved and you slowed down. Each other passed, and if somebody was fishing, you slowed down your boat to a crawl as to not mess up. Throw waves towards that other boat. Hey man, not today. Not today. Even here, you've got to watch the power boaters come through. Can only do it via cell phone.
They don't know how to interact.
They don't know how to interact. They don't.
Technology's in the way.
They're
the guys at the supermarket. The girl's ringing him up, and he's just sitting there like this. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.
It's the zombie apocalypse. It is the zombie apocalypse. It's amazing to watch.
They told us it was coming. We were zombies. They knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse quicker, I think, because this last coronavirus thing worked. So many people that I believe were woke. There was my core group of people that I knew wouldn't waver. And these were guys like you. There was several that I leaned on, and I knew we were all going to come to the same consensus. And if the other one's wrong, we're good enough to tell each other where we're off. You know what I'm saying? But it blows me away how many channels are just pushing this and pushing this and pushing this. It's like, dude, how long are you going to go on with this? You know, your videos are outlasting the pandemic. It's not here.
Yeah, well,
lock everybody up right away. Planes full of people left. It just blows me away. It blows me away.
Well, it's called pride and ego get in the way. One of the things the better things that I've done in the last year or so is to let go of my pride and ego. That's why the studies have become better digestible because I'm not angry anymore. Look, folks, it's no reason to be angry at the world because we're not going to change it today. But we got to change ourselves, right? And if we could change ourselves and learn from our mistakes, admit when we're wrong, because it's going to happen. Listen, we're all fallible. Every single one of us is fallible. Every single one of us is going to make mistakes. Not one of us has all the knowledge. But when we make that mistake, don't just keep trying to drive that square peg in that round hole. You know, give it up.
True, man. It's true. Totally true. We're living in a crazy, crazy place. We just are. It's absolutely unbelievable. And people need to understand that I can't stand explaining this over and over, but somebody in the comments asked me, do you think that this whole coronavirus was a beta test? I can't lay it out what I think
clear
it was to put the martial law machine in place. Locking up that amount of China is like locking up almost all of the United States. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was a practice run. And like they do everything in a multifaceted manner, it let them see what the rest of the world thought. Because 25 years ago, 100 million people being forced to be locked in against their will, that'd be a problem. This time, people are worried about getting their medications from China. If you're taking meds from China, you might want to find an alternative. I wouldn't be taking meds from China in the first place. They sell their own people fiberglass resin and tell them it's rice. That's not cool.
Or the plastic cabbage,
right?
Right. And what essentially, so we forget because we see these numbers, these huge numbers, 65 million. Even if it's real, let's just hypothetically say it's real. So essentially, they mass quarantine Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. That's how many states they locked away in mass quarantine. Just like that.
And for 40 days automatically.
Yeah.
This is funny. I don't maybe these
I understand what he's talking about. I know.
yeah, but that's the same conclusion we drew on the 7th of January when I said, what do you think? You and Nicholson said they're going to make people afraid of cash because they'll think they can catch a disease from it. This was prior to the pandemic breaking out.
Well, they started
Worst
this
pandemic ever.
They started this years ago too with the confiscation of walking around with cash. They've made it a crime already to walk around with large amounts of cash. There's a lady from Pittsburgh right now who had $82,000 taken by TSA because she was taking her father's retirement money and going to invest it. TSA took it. They've made it a crime already to carry that much cash, and really that's the continued slow drip of Fabian socialism, getting you prepared for the eventuality of a cashless society. And of course, then it'll just be computer numbers. And of course, that's always where your social credit comes in too.